Hey, Junkman with VintageRock.com, NAMM 2012, once again. Here with my pal, Mr. George Lynch, guitar player extraordinaire. How you doing, dude?
Extraordinaire?
Yeah. Big time extraordinaire.
Yeah, okay. Well,
And no, you're not a vintage guy just yet. You're working on it.
yeah. Well, yeah, the way I put it, it's okay to be vintage as long as you're rich.
Yeah.
But until
Rich
you're
is good.
rich, you're just still a working man, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're trying to build something, and you know, it's not time to rest on your laurels, you know, yet.
True that. Dude, you are a gearhead big time, as we all know. It's very famous. George knows his gear, likes to find new gear and more stuff like that.
You know
Tell
what
us
I'm really famous for?
What's that?
Is, in small circles, is changing everything like every week, every month.
That's all right.
And you know what I end up with?
With?
What I started out with 27 years ago.
The sound.
I could have saved all that pain and money and effort and just like stuck with one thing. But
The sound, the look, all of it, all the above.
But it's actually a fun process.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, you know, it's like when you're wrenching on stuff and you're exploring, you know, new tonal ideas and trying to find the next thing that helps you get to where you want to go to kind of achieve what it is that you're hearing in your head. That is really what it's all about, essentially. If I wasn't chasing that tone, it wouldn't be as fun. You know,
It's like the eternal wave for surfers, you know, kind of like just chasing for the rest of their life. Yeah, chase the big ones.
I don't want to go there, by
Hey, dude, your relationship with Dean Markley. You've had a long relationship with Dean Markley Equipment. Tell us about what you're doing with them today. Besides signing stuff for your adoring public, tell us about new Dean Markley products that you might be working with, looking for that same sound or whatever.
Well, we worked really hard for. It took a whole year in development in coming up with the Super V string, which was something that I really had my heart into, and I learned a lot about string winding. My dad was a metallurgist, and so I had a little bit of background just by osmosis from being around my dad and so forth, and he was a welder and all this. So I had a little bit of knowledge, some very basic knowledge, but then I learned a lot about strings, which helped me understand what they do and how strings are like tires on a car. You know, I like to think of it as and if you talk to a race car driver, tires on a car are everything. It's where the rubber hits the road. You know, despite everything else, that's where all your control is. You know, that's where your tactile sensory thing interacts with the surface, you know, and that's exactly what strings do with a guitar. And there's a tonal quality as well. So I'm kind of old school in the sense that I really love the nickel thing. I'm not so worried about strings lasting forever. I'm not into coated. I'm not into, you know, those kinds of new features. Wound to pitch necessarily. I'm not too worried about intonation. Because the way I play, it's all kind of like, you know, if it's not in tune, I can just make it in tune.
Right.
With my fingers, you know. So I'm not all about that. I'm more about just the general feel of the string and the tonal qualities of how it interacts with my fingers and how it interacts with the amp. And I'm really like an old school nickel guy, you know. I pretty much love that. And that's what I loved about the Super V string, is it had all those qualities.
So Dean Markley has definitely nailed it in terms of what you're looking for.
Well, you know, the thing is, if you find a company like Dean Markley that's willing to work with you and use their expertise and knowledge base and resources to help you get where you want to go, that's the key.
Right.
You know.
Well, it's been a long time. I mean, how many years you guys been working together?
What time is it right now? I don't know. Decade.
A while.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you win something at some point, or what?
No. Just curiosity.
You know, a prize or a ribbon or a plaque. Oh, okay. And then it doesn't matter.
So you're going to be taking these strings out on the road with you, I hope, sometime. And you got a lot of new projects going on. You got your new project with your old docking partner, Mr. Jeff Pilson, too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's called Tooth and Nail is the name of the project. We just finished up 2 records, one for this year, 2012, and one for next year, 2013. It's a little bit confusing. We've got Mick Brown playing with Jeff and I.
Wild Mick?
Which is Dawkin without Dawn.
Yeah.
With guest singers singing the old Dawkin songs.
Okay.
And each record is half Dawkin songs with Mick and Jeff and I.
Redone.
With the guest singers, and the other half of each record is new original music with Brian Tichy on drums and Jeff singing.
Now, is Brian playing guitar, too? Because he's a killer guitar player, as you know.
But That's like the last thing we need is another guitar player. Everybody's a friggin' guitar player. Mick's a guitar player. Jeff's a guitar player. You're probably a guitar player. But you don't get to play guitar in tooth and nail.
No.
Or Lynch.
No. Not unless you want me to.
No. I'll put you on the third string.
So
if
you
something
guys
happens to me and the second guy goes down, you can step up.
All right, cool.
It's $20 a day.
I'll live with that. I'll live with that.
Yeah.
So you got the songs that are recorded and ready to roll on this?
Tooth and Nail is virtually done. We're in the mix mode right now. All the guitars, the vocals have been finished. It's phenomenal. And I've also picked up Lynch Mob again. We've got a new singer, Jesse Forte from Veins of Jenna.
Oh, awesome.
So it's Scott Coogan on drums from Ace Frehley. We got Robbie Crane from Rat, and myself and Jesse Forte, and that's the new Lynch Mob. We're going to be doing a lot of touring this year, and we are trying to get back in the studio here in the late winter, early spring to finish up the record that we were doing with Oni before we lost Oni last year. So, a revamped Lynch Mob with fresh blood, new blood in it with Jesse. Young guy, great chops, great look. And we got that. And I just started an instrumental record as well that I'm doing kind of on the side in my spare time. Between 5:15 and 5:45.
Right.
Every other, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I have time to work on this instrumental record, which I've only written 2 songs and recorded 2 songs, but it's a start.
You got time?
Yeah, I got time. Well, not that much. I haven't looked at Death Clock lately, so I don't know. But, then I'm doing a movie for a documentary channel called Shadow Train, which is Native American.
How'd that all come about?
Just a passion of mine, the Native American cause, and trying to bring solution-based ideas to the reservations as a laboratory and a model for kind of the greater good for most people. And so we're doing things like straw bale building and solar, bringing solar enterprise to the reservations, sharing musical equipment and building community centers and playing music with with our band called Shadow Train, along with the native musicians and interacting. And we go out in the reservations in New Mexico and Arizona and just camp out and sit around the campfire and play music. It's all improvised music.
It's terrific.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's a passion thing. It's not really kind of anything that I hope to succeed on any other level other to try to affect change in some small way.
You're a busy guy, brother. Keep it going.
Well, I didn't tell you everything.
Well, continue.
All right, so so I've got my Mr. Scary guitars that I'm building by hand in my backyard.
He is a guitar builder, by the way, guys. He's very good with the wood routers and everything else you need.
I'm not really a luthier. I couldn't build you an acoustic guitar from scratch, and I don't build my own necks. But I shape my own necks, and I do everything else. We wind the pickups, I do all the routing, everything else on the guitar. But the design is the main thing. So I've got these guitars called Mr. Scary guitars. I've done about 24 of them, and I love them. And they're like when I get done with them, I love them, and it's like giving away your kids.
Don't want to give them
I've got one here at the show, and the guy's here to pick it up, and I'm like, I kind of want to keep this one. I haven't built one for myself, so I'm doing that. But then I had the brilliant idea of doing the same thing with all the routing and the fire and the bones with an amplifier. So I got together with Randall, and I built what is called the Headhunter Amp, which is at the show here.
Nice.
And it's the same sort of process.
So you're all over, man.
Well, you should go check that thing out.
Absolutely.
Take a picture of it. It's
absolutely
phenomenal. It's still wet, so don't touch it. It'll screw up your Armani suit.
Don't even look at it. It's got the old tagger on it, Yeah, my Armani,
Yeah. It's called the Headhunter Amp. It's still a work in progress. I got to take it back after the show and finish it because I didn't quite have enough time to get it where I wanted it to go. But it's pretty insane.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, amps, guitars, everything, man. You got it all going on.
Start my own radio station and put KNEC out of business.
Well, there you go. It can happen, A little late for that, Tal.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, dude, we appreciate you talking to us, man.
We just sat here and talked about me.
Well, that's all we want to talk about, man.
What do you think of me?
Kind of cool guy. He's all right.
What happened to KNEC?
KNAC.com is still going on. It's still rocking, dude. It's still rocking. We were talking about radio. It's not. That's gone. It's over. So.
Okay.
But nonetheless, dude. Great. Glad you got everything going
records then?
For self-fulfillment or for enjoyment of the fans, basically.
Records are expensive and painful.
Well, that's what it's come. That's what it's come to now.
That's what I'm supposed to do for a living.
Used to be what you do, but now you've branched out into bigger and better things, man.
I'll have to get a real job.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to get a real job and go to work.
Exactly.
6 kids, 6 grandkids. Come on.
Wow. Amazing. Dude, appreciate
If
it.
anybody's hiring, let me know.
He's going to be signing stuff over at the Dean Markley booth. I'm sure he's going to be visiting Randall and all the rest of those other places as well.
Randall, we did already yesterday. I'll be doing ESP later today at 4 o'clock, and I'm doing Dean Markley with Tooth and Nail guys at 2 o'clock.
Excellent. Once again, George Lynch, the busiest guy in town, NAMM 2012, JunkmanVintageRock.com. Thanks again, man.
See you.